Broadcasting live from Stensia on the plain of Innistrad, this is Tap Tap Concede. Hello everybody, welcome to Tap Tap Concede. I'm Graham, and this is Kathleen.
My hair is weird.
And joining us this week is Alex, saying hello.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Hi. For the benefit of those.
Right. It's audio, too.
Yes. And Cam.
Hello.
Hey.
Cam gets it right. Everybody else is a scrub.
Because James had to be at place, and Paul hasn't played any Theros. I mean, I don't think Alex has played any Theros.
No, I haven't played any Theros.
But you have
I watched Graham draft, and I checked out a couple of cards, so I will make
that was fun.
Opinionated remarks about a set I know nothing about.
Yeah. So we're just going to be talking about our early impressions of the format. Of course, we're going to crack an old pack, and I want to address a couple things first. Well, one thing mainly for the flavor review that I did last episode. With all the gods and stuff. I've gotten into this discussion with a couple people on Twitter, because I said that Heliod is the Zeus of Theros, and a lot of people quite rightly brought up that the connection to Helios, the Greek god of the sun, being as Heliod is the god of the sun. Mm-hmm. It was an oversight not to mention Helios. You're totally right. I mean, their names are the same. They have the same sort of. They are the gods of the same thing. But despite that connection, I still stand by Heliod is the Zeus of Theros. He is not the Helios. Helios was a really minor deity in Greek mythology, and Heliod is definitely
he's got the
Zeus.
the lightning bolt chucking.
He's got the same stance. Yeah. Exactly.
It's
So,
like,
yeah, I mean, and there's other sort of like pastiches, in the gods. For example, there's Erebos and Erebus, I think, is another god of sort of similar connection there. But Erebos is definitely in the more sort of the Hades realm. And,
Hades, Pluto.
Yeah. And also, I mixed up Artemis and Athena to my eternal embarrassment, and make sure that you all rush to the comments to correct me. But then Kathleen corrected me.
Why would you tell people to do that?
Well, no, because the thing is, it was because Kathleen corrected me 2 minutes later in that same podcast. But I had people tweeting at me being like, "You got this wrong," and I'm like, "I know, just keep watching. It's cool. I'm sorry."
You done goofed.
Yeah, I done goofed. So.
You were wrong on the internet.
I know. It's the worst kind of wrong. Yeah. So anyway, this week we're going to be cracking another pack from a gentleman by the name of Pete, who sent us a bunch of packs. That were full. He sent us full blocks worth of packs from the times when he was playing, and so we've already done Champions of Kamigawa. Now we're on to the second expansion, Betrayers of Kamigawa.
Exciting.
The last big legendary creatures enchantments matter block, which was interesting. They changed the legend rules just before Kamigawa block, and they changed the legend rules just before Theros, which is very interesting. Kamigawa gets a lot of flack though for not really doing the enchantment thing. Or not doing the legendary thing quite the justice
and also
it
for
deserved.
Being a fairly low power block.
Yeah.
With a couple of insane exceptions.
Yeah, one of which we might see in this pack. We don't know, but there's a chance. Because what's in Betrayers? Is it GT or Top?
I don't remember.
It's one of those.
It's one of those things.
We'll find out.
I haven't seen a GT in a long time, so.
Shinka Gatekeeper is at 2 and a red for a 3/2 Ogre Warrior. And whenever Shinka Gatekeeper is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to you. God, I hate this ability. Having said that, I got completely rocked in a Theros draft the other day by a Fire Drinker Satyr, the sort of the Jackal Pup plus.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't hurt it.
Yeah, so ogres were a tribe in this block.
Yeah, ogres.
They were black, usually.
Black and
because
red?
they were associated with the Oni.
Yeah, with the demons. Yeah. Get up on that microphone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, I guess you think of this, you look at this and you're like, this seems bad. But...
It seems fine, actually. It's just sort of like...
Well, I mean, you're like, I don't want to get hurt, too. But it discourages your opponent from blocking it because they can't kill it, so that means they're going to throw away creatures. So unless they really want to,
why can't they kill
hurt
it?
you...
Wait, what?
Because when it deals damage, it deals
that's
damage.
real bad.
No, it still takes the damage. It just,
okay.
So if
I
they
thought you
block,
said it deals damage to you instead.
No, if they block with a 5-power creature, then it dies and
You're
you
going
take
to have
5.
a bad time.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Ooh, hey, this guy's in the Magic Online Cube occasionally. Ninja of the Deep Hours.
Ooh.
3 in a blue for a 2/2 with ninjutsu for 1 in a blue.
This
Ninjutsu being return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand and put this card into play instead. And whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card.
This is
This
a very
guy's
good
sweet.
card.
I've played with that guy before. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you play out like a 1-drop or a 2-drop, I guess. Then attack with them on turn 2 or 3, and then pay 2 mana and go fooled you, wah-cha, and you trade places with them.
Yeah.
This guy gets through and you draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're-
And you also try to hit something that has an enter the battlefield effect.
Mm.
yeah.
so you
Then
can
you get
recast it.
extra value.
So he's really good. How about a big beefy dude? Scaled Hulk.
Sounds beefy.
He is 5 and a green for a 4/4. And that's not amazing in green in
Meh.
terms of beef, but he's a spirit, and whenever you play a spirit or arcane spell, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So that could be a massive blowout, because if you cast an arcane buff, then he's just getting
Well,
massive.
also you can like splice spells.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So you can just like get value off that over and over.
You can do
presumably.
You could probably make him like a 10/10 with the right amount of spirit or with the right amount of spells.
Speaking of spirit or arcane spells, the Skullmane Baku. So this guy's weird. He's 3 black for a 2/1 spirit. That's pretty bad on the old vanilla
That sounds
test.
awful.
Yeah, so
I hope he kills something when he comes in. Nope.
Well, whenever
No
you play a
dice.
spirit or arcane spell, you can put a key counter on him.
Yeah.
And for 1 and tap and remove X key counters, target creature gets -X until end of turn.
No.
That
That is so janky and
Super-
so slow and not
Yeah.
worth paying 5 mana for.
Super clunky.
It's like,
Blech.
how would you like some removal in like 14 turns?
Yeah. No.
Ooh, I want to get the. We need to make a flavor ruling on this next card.
Uh-oh.
This is the 100 Talon Strike.
It doesn't have 100 talons, does it?
What happens if you cast 100 Talon Strike on a 100-handed one? Bum, bum, bum. Flavor-wise, it probably does something
You
way
get
more.
1,000 hits.
It does way more cool than it actually normally does. But in this case, the 100 Talon Strike is an instant arcane for 1 white. Target creature gets +1/+0 and first strike until end of turn, and you may splice onto arcane. Then the splice cost is tap an untapped white creature you control, which is kind of interesting.
so this is basically like Fist of the North Star card.
What I like about this is that on blocks, this is really cool, because if you have a bunch of white guys, you can
Oh, yeah.
splice it. But oh wait, no, because you can't just keep splicing the same one over and
No.
over again. We went over this last time and got it wrong. But okay, so ignore
you
the
can. Can't you?
ignore the splice. Ignore that it's arcane
You
Oh,
can't splice the same card multiple times
onto
a
the
spell.
single spell.
If you cast 2 arcane spells, you could splice it onto like arcane spell A and arcane spell B.
Yeah, but ignore that it's arcane. Ignore that you can splice it. +1/+0 and first strike for 1 white is a pretty fine combat trick.
That seems like
Like,
something I'd definitely pick
First
up in a
strike
draft.
lets you make some good blocks.
We have one from every color.
better attacks. So, hey Alex,
Hey, what?
I know you like goblins.
I do.
Do you? And I know you like 1-drop bears.
Uh-oh.
Can you guess who it is?
Oh, what's his... I can't remember the name of this card, but I know which one it is. Yep, Goblin Cohort.
Yay!
Wow, I didn't even say it. Paul just guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul's running off camera today because
So
this is great. He gets to be producer off
this
camera.
guy is...
So it's the for those of you listening,
Yeah.
it's the Goblin Cohort, and he's 2/2 for a single red, but he can't attack or block unless you've played a creature spell this turn. Sorry, can't attack unless
Yeah,
you've
he
played a
can
creature
block.
spell this turn.
Yeah, there's a couple of cards that are very similar to this. It's like they have a huge power toughness advantage, but their drawback is usually unless they have buddies in some respect, they can't do anything. This card actually works really well in a really like all-in aggro deck where you're just like slamming guys every turn.
Yeah.
It can put on a lot of pressure vest, but like he's so bad just on his own.
Like, is this guy ever not attacking on turn 2 in a Goblin deck?
No.
Like, he shouldn't be, right? He should.
You're
always
in
be
trouble
attacking.
if you're not
Yeah.
activating him.
I'd probably be okay if my deck was just this guy.
Yeah, well, it's
You,
like
you would look at it and go, yeah, all right, I can.
Yeah.
think about following this guy up with Mog Flunkies.
Oh God.
Yeah, and then curving into like Goblin Lord, and it's just like you're dead.
Oh, that's super gross. Speaking of gross, but in the bad way, Vital Surge is 1 and a green for an instant arcane. You gain 3 life. and you may splice it for 1 and a green.
You know what? I didn't play life gain when it was gain 7 life for 2, and I'm not going to play it
Yeah.
when it was gain 3.
Yeah.
I remember this when it was gain 3 life for 1 white.
I mean, I guess the advantage is you can splice this one, so if you have the extra mana, you can just occasionally chuck this additionally onto other spells you're casting, but it seems like a
No.
waste of space in your deck.
Yeah.
All right, this is an interesting one. Bile Urchin.
Ugh.
It is a 1/1 for a single black. Sacrifice it. Target player loses 1 life.
Oh, you know what this is?
I would love to know what this
This is the payload for Pattern Rector, which is a Highlander deck. It's this really elaborate combo. I can't even explain how it works, but
Now, when you say Rector, that's Academy Rector?
Academy Rector, yeah, it uses Academy
And
Rector.
what's the pattern part of Pattern Rector?
It uses Academy Rector. You put Academy Rector into play. You sacrifice her to something to find Pattern of Rebirth. Put that on a creature. Sack that creature. Find Protean Hulk. Sack Hulk. Get a Hulk trigger. Go and get Karmic Guide and Revelark and this guy. And you just it sets up an infinite combo.
This sounds insane.
It is insane. You recur those 3 creatures and they start a feedback loop, and you have Bile Urchin. So every time you bring him back, you make them lose 1 life, and you just cycle it infinite times until you kill your opponent.
Wow.
Oh.
So
It's a
combo
kludge.
with like 6 or 7 moving parts.
Yep. Actually, no.
Sounds
it's
like Highlander. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. But it's a thing in Germany.
Oh, that's really cool. It's neat to have you on for the different perspective, because Alex basically never drafts, that's almost exclusively what the rest of us do.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm into
I'm not speaking
weird.
for Cam. Cam actually has a standard deck. Ooh. Which
I
I'll-
sort of represent the esoteric format.
Next up, I guarantee you this is not part of a Highlander combo. Mending Hands. It's instant for a single white. Prevent the next 4 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn.
So busted.
Ugh. How about this? First Volley. It is an instant arcane for 1 and a red.
Okay.
First Volley deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to that creature's controller.
That sounds like worst volley.
Zing.
I'm sorry, 1 damage? I mean, there's a lot of 1 toughness creatures here in
Yep.
this set,
It's,
but that's so...
it's super cool because it's lava shurikens, but
Yeah.
And I
but
mean, it's-
you can splice onto it, but
Yeah.
you can't splice it, which is unfortunate.
like this seems like it kills stuff you don't care about and doesn't kill anything you do care about.
this is like a bad version of I can't remember the name of it. It was in Zendikar. It was like red, deal 3 to a creature.
Oh, Searing Blaze.
Yeah, Searing Blaze.
But Searing Blaze was sweet, because
Searing Blaze
if
was
you got
real
landfall,
good.
it was 3 damage to a creature and 3 damage to a player for red. Sweet flavor text, though. We searched their bodies for signs of the blades that had killed them, but found nothing more than scorched flesh.
Woo! Spooky.
All right. How about a Moonfolk?
Ooh,
You like
they're
the
so
Moonfolk,
cute.
right? Floodbringer. 1 in a blue for a 1/2 with flying. Moonfolk Wizard. 2 for 2 colorless, and return a land you control to its owner's hand. Tap target land.
That seems...
Seems pretty lame.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
That's it. I'm sure there's some sort of combo you can do with that.
Not really.
No, the art's really good.
Yeah,
It's like-
Moonfolk are cool.
But I mean,
They're
okay,
really cute.
think about what you're getting here. You are returning a land to your hand, so you're down a land
Yeah.
to put them down a land.
But you're only tapping their land. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not denying. You're not denying them a land drop. You're just. This is the most expensive Rashadan port ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
super harsh.
Wouldn't they just tap and float the
Yeah,
mana
they
in
can float in
response?
response.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, if you do it during their upkeep, maybe.
That seems really poor.
Yeah.
There aren't even any man lands in this block, so like I don't see it being that relevant.
Yeah.
Although they do. Did this
There are
block
some
have-
legendary lands that do stuff,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it
Do they
seems
have
like a
enter
pretty...
Do any of the lands in this block have enter the battlefield effects?
that I don't
No,
know.
is this the one that had the weird untap ones where it's like they stay tapped for a turn and they're like
Yes.
duels?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can tap them for mana and then they stay tapped for a turn.
But is
which
that
makes
only if
them
you're
real
tapping them?
bad.
Is that only if you're tapping them for mana?
I don't know.
I'll have to look one of them up. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. That's a 1/2 for 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
it flies.
How about another 1/2 for 2?
Okay.
Okay. This one's called the Minamo Sightbender. It is 1/2 for 1.
Psych bender.
Sightbender.
Sight bender.
That's a 1/2 for
Oh.
one and a blue. He's a human wizard. For X and tap, target creature with power X or less becomes unblockable this turn. These
Kind of
seems
like
fine.
Goblin Shortcutter, where it's just like
It was repeatable though.
yeah. Well, no, sorry, not Shortcutter. The other one, the guy that you tap and a creature of power 2 or less becomes unblockable.
Tunneler.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it's actually good because you make a 2-power creature unblockable, then you pump it,
Yeah.
then you fight.
I loved the trick with the Valakut Firebore, right? Which is he's a 1/7, I think. So you make him unblockable, and then when he attacks, he becomes a 7/1,
Oh,
but
right.
he's still unblockable.
Right.
Busted.
I want to point out that the only thing that first volley in this pack we've opened, the only things that first volley kills are the bile urchin, which you would sacrifice in response, and that awful Skullbane, Skullmane Baku, which
like, oh
we're just
no.
like, why would I play this anyhow?
I've been saving up key counters for such a long time, Kathleen. Why would you do that to me?
Oh, here's a good one. The Genju cycle, the Genju of the Cedars. A single green for Enchant Forest.
Yeah.
So you've now enchanted your forest, and for 2 colorless, Enchanted Forest becomes a 4/4 green spirit creature until end of turn. It is still a land. When Enchanted Forest is put into the graveyard, you may return Genju of Cedars from your graveyard to your hand.
I guess that's a reason you're using the Floodbringer to tap down a land.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
it's
yeah, maybe that's what it is. They did a cycle of this for all the colors. The red one was pretty good, as I recall. I don't remember what the black one did, but it's just like a lot higher power than you would expect, but it's attached to a land, and it's like make your own man land.
Yeah.
So I was actually sort of wrong about there not being any man lands in this block.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is costing you 3 mana, right?
Yeah, but you can hit for 4 on turn 2.
Lives through Wrath.
Oh, actually, no, you can't, because you have
No,
to tap that land
yeah.
on turn 3 then. Well, we have an equipment.
Uh-oh.
It's the Ronin War Club.
Ooh.
It's a 3-drop. Equipped creature gets +2/+1, and that's it. And it equips for 5.
Yeesh.
It's pretty expensive, but the trick is, whenever a creature comes into play under your control, attach the Ronin War Club to that creature.
Ooh.
So you don't have to. You probably are never paying that 5 because it's probably just attaching to something,
That seems real good with creatures that have haste.
or
Yeah.
like little like 1/1 flying tokens or something. Like if you manage to get
Yeah.
some sort of like little dudes, and it's just like, oh, suddenly I'm a
Oh,
3/2.
it's not a May effect.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not
Oh.
a May. It has to attach
That's awkward.
So you could play out like a haste guy. He picks up the club, swings, second main, play out.
something else,
blocker.
and he picks up the club. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It's like, here, you're it.
All right, and our rare. Oh man, speaking of lands, listen to this. Our rare is Hokori, Dust Drinker.
Oh.
So he is 2 white for a 2/2 legendary spirit. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land he or she controls. Is that Winter Orb?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Which one is there's a old artifact that does that it's nothing untaps, but you get to untap 1.
I
I think it's Winter Orb.
think that's
isn't it?
Winter Orb.
You'll have to
Yeah,
read.
there you go.
Players
It's a
cannot
it's a
untap.
bear it's a bear attached to a Winter Orb. Mother of God.
We finally solved it.
What can men do against such reckless
We
hate?
finally saw what they did there.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he seems like a totally fair Magic card.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Really, he seems like
I don't like Winter Orb. It's an extremely effective card, and
Yeah.
I hate it because it's really unfun.
Yeah.
It just grinds the game to a halt, and your opponent sticks it when they have like the slightest amount of advantage, and then it's just like, yeah, you're done. Enjoy like untapping 1 land a turn, and hope you have some way of blowing this up. Cause yeah,
cause life sucks. Start saving up your mana. All right, so I mean, like, I think that the pick here is Hokori, but let's say it's been taken. Well, what do you guys take?
I don't
from
even
this
know if
bag?
Hokori is the pick.
Is it Genju of the Cedars? Is it Ninja the Deep Hours?
Yeah, I think Ninja the Deep Hours might be. It's definitely the most fun.
I think Ninja's sweet.
Yeah, Ninja's a sweet
Yeah.
card. The War Club isn't the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's not. That's true.
The Scaled Hulk is
It's card.
expensive, but at least it's a largish body.
And incoming sweater.
Well, that's Alex's coat.
Good enough.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry,
Ah!
Kathleen's feeling chilly.
Oh, he scared me.
What?
The GT.
Oh,
We-
is that from this set? Oh, it is from this
So
set.
it is.
All right,
so this is the one.
big scrubs.
Was this the one that they emergency banned?
Well, I can't
Well, no,
remember.
that happened to Skull Clamp,
I
didn't
ca-
it?
Yeah, I don't think they actually emergency banned it. But the problem, the reason it's so busted is because they emergency, changed it.
Yeah,
Like-
there was a last minute change when they were designing GT.
Yeah, because it does when you remove the counters from GT, it does one of three things. It either gives four things.
3.
Three things. It's the creature. No, you gain 2 life.
Yeah, it's gain 2 life.
Creature gets
Equipped
minus.
creature gets +2/+2, or target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn.
So originally it had the life gain and the creature buffing, but it also generated mana. What? Yeah, it you removed a counter to generate 1 black mana. Because mana generation is a minor ability in Black's section of the color pie.
Right.
And so they were like, wait, how do you do it that it's a mana ability, but it's you remove the counter, you pay a cost for a mana ability. I don't know how that works in the rules, and they decided it was too confusing and complex. So they were like, okay.
So they made
we can't do that. So let's make it something else that Black does. Oh, Black does debuffing. So let's make it target creature gets -1/-1.
So
yeah,
let's-
that looks great. Print it.
Let's give colorless removal at instant speed to any deck.
Because that's why it's super busted, right? Like the other abilities are seriously very strong. Like it still would have been strong, but the fact that you can just be like and kill a guy
Yeah.
is nuts.
It's like this card makes me sweat when I see it across the table.
Yeah. Well, it
It's
makes
just
combat
like,
math
So it should.
impossible.
you go all in on kill everything they play. They go to equip, blow it up. Doesn't matter.
There are few things in the Magic Online cube that are a first pick over GT.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anything offhand.
Because,
to be perfectly honest.
the minute they start piling counters on there, it's like just the most
over.
horrendous uphill battle for you.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're an aggro deck, you're just like, welp, he has all the removal and stabilization and everything else that he needs to kill me.
Boy, Standard must have been super unfun at this time when everybody's running 4 GT.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
even
they
know
are
that you play for
they
GT.
are legendary. Thankfully.
I would think that a deck would
Mercifully.
play 3 of these.
All right,
Maybe
well,
maybe
3
2
GT.
and sideboard 1.
But they go in every deck.
Yeah.
What deck do you play that doesn't run GT?
None.
Well, I mean, it's colorless.
That sort of
Decks
depends
where
on,
you don't want to win.
Yeah, I think it's better as sort of anti-aggro tech. That there's some decks that prefer different equipment, but it's really
It just
really
boggles my
good.
mind that it's when it deals any combat damage and the counters go on the GT.
Yeah, they
So
stay
if
even
your
though
creature just dies, if you chump with your creature, you still get 2 counters on the GT.
yeah.
I don't understand.
And then you take them off, and then you kill another creature.
You could even, if you had it on a first strike guy, he deals damage in the first strike phase, you get 2 counters, and then you can blow them off to buff him so he lives.
Yeah.
In normal damage, it's insane. Anyway. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of legendary things, Theros.
Theros.
So,
Captain Picard is bent over.
oh, weird.
Pick
So
up
the
his head.
the our experiences with Theros so far, we played the pre-release. I got to draft it for the first time at the Escapist Expo with a bunch of Loading Ready Run fans. We had a blast, and I've drafted a couple times on Magic Online. From a draft perspective, it is fun. I'm really enjoying it. Have you drafted it yet?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay.
No, wait. I've drafted twice.
Okay,
Actually.
because you went with James a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
And how was it? How was your deck?
It was really entertaining. I wound up in Boros colors both times.
Ooh, that seems strong.
And I had a couple of the Acroan
Hoplites?
X2s.
Yeah.
Those
and,
guys seem real good.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was fine. I went 2-1 both times, which is okay.
On our live stream the other day, we did 2 Swisses and ended up with a 3-3 record after it. We went 1-2 and then 2-1.
Right. Yeah, the second draft I opened, pack 1, pick 1 was Chained to the Rocks.
That seems cool.
I guess I'm in red-white.
Yeah, it's really, really effective.
Mm-hmm.
I did
Very flavorful too.
super flavorful. I love it. We made a joke about that actually in Friday nights. It's incredibly flavorful. I ended up with the white-black heroic one in the draft I won in Durham, North Carolina. And boy, that deck can do disgusting things. Favored Hoplite can be that guy can like win on turn 4 if you do it right. Like, so he's a 1/2 for 1, but his heroic ability is he gets a +1/+1 counter, and all damage dealt to him until end of turn is prevented. I had instances where I was like, I'll keep like a 1-lander and this guy, and then swing with him on turn 2, and just spend my turn 2 casting like Battle-Wise Valor to give him +2/+2, which then it means I'm getting in for 4 damage on turn 2. There's nothing they can do about it, and I'm scrying my next draw. And then that's not the most aggressive play because I'm not actually developing my board. But I had a few situations where I was like, I guess I'm just doing this, and it worked really well. Phalanx Leader is gross. He's the 1/1 for white that puts a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures. And then Wingsteed Rider is the 2/2 flying for 1 white that gets a +1/+1 counter. Mm-hmm. And I actually I lost in the finals of an 8-4 on Magic Online the other night, and I knew that I'd be facing the nuts heroic deck in the finals, and I was up against the crazy black-white heroic deck, and he had 2 of these. At one point, he had 2 of these guys in a Phalanx Leader, and attacked and cast like. Dauntless Onslaught or whatever it is.
The white target 2?
Yeah, the white target 2 thing on the Phalanx Leader and one of those guys. So like that guy gets +2+, he's a 2/2, he gets +2/+2 from Dauntless Assault, he gets 1 from himself, and he gets 1 from Phalanx Leader. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, oh, now I can never ever win. Never ever. And the bestowing things onto the guys that get counters is just it's crazy. At one point, I was facing like a 10/10 flying vigilance first strike, and it's like I can't. No, it was 10/10 flying vigilance. Whenever it attacks, tap one of my guys because he had the observant Alceid and the Heliod's Emissary bestowed on a Wingsteed Rider. It was offensive.
That is pretty offensive.
Yeah, so it's weird because everyone's read on it was that Theros would be a slower format, on the slow end of things,
well, the removal's really slow.
Exactly. The removal's super clunky, It wouldn't be anywhere near as slow as M14, but pretty darn slow. And it can be. It can be a very, very slow deck. Or like a very, very slow format. Or you can just get crushed in 5 turns. Weirdly, basically that's sort of the live draft I did in Durham. Typically the games did go very quickly for me, like just sort of playing a lot of little dudes, doing the heroic triggers, being very, very aggressive with how I use them and just running dudes over. But then the finals was very, very strange. I won it in 2 games, but they were absolute grinds. And I talked about this on Twitter. This is really weird. I don't know if you saw these tweets, Cam. The guy I was playing against only had 13 lands in his deck. Only 13.
Really stingy.
Yeah, well, typical wisdom of a draft deck, and this is not coming from us, this is from like everyone, and I didn't want to say this at the time, but it's like, and from Magic Pros I have spoken to personally. It's like 23 spells, 17 lands. Like this is what Wizard says on like the packaging for Modern Masters when it's like how to draft, right?
Right.
And he was running 13 land. Like you'll go to 16 if you're like monocolored or you have a really low curve and you can think you can get away with a few less land. But 13 land?
That's
but the thing is, it's weird. He had not had mana troubles the whole draft
because he had so much scry.
Because his deck was just like mono scry. Like every card in his deck practically had scry tacked onto it, and he just smoothed his stuff. He'd be like, "I need a land. What's this? Not a land? Goes away. Draw a land." Like it was. It was bizarre. And so both games with him, I just came out of the gates like just windmilling, just swinging my arms wildly, knock him down to like 10 or like 9 life. And then he gets a wall up. And I just can't get through. And then I just barely chip away like 1 point every couple turns. And then the games
eventually just grind him out?
Eventually the way that both games worked is my pack one pick one was Elspeth. And she never showed up the whole draft until those games because we were drawing so far through our decks that what happened is at the very end of it, I played Elspeth, built up a bunch of guys, and then I was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this out loud because I'm tired, but let me see. You're at 4, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers, and you're tapped out, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacking creatures. I attack with everybody. And he's like, all right, you win. I'm like, okay, good. But yeah, in one game, I played Elspeth, plus wonder, got 3 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
On my next turn, plus wonder again for 6 soldiers, and played the Evangel of Heliod for, I got a total of 5 soldiers off him. So in 2 turns, I had made
8 soldiers.
I'd made 11 soldiers over the 2 turns, and I was like, all right, we got there. We figured it out, and I just crashed in with all these 1/1s and was able to get them down. But those games were absolute slogs. I'm astonished that it was that effective with so few land. Like we were in a period of time where I had the I don't recall the name, the 3/3 Vigilance Flyer that you can regen for white, black, and pay 2 life. Pay 3 life, I think.
Oh,
I don't recall the name of it.
I know
Anyway,
the one you're talking about, but that doesn't help.
because he has vigilance, I just kept attacking with him. But he had the Griffin that you can pay 1 and a white to prevent the next 1 damage.
Right.
And we spent 4 turns, I think it was, with me going attack, and he's like, all right, I tap 6, prevent all 3 damage, and I go, all right, pass the turn, and he draws and goes, pass the turn, and I go, I attack, and like, pay all my mana, prevent all the damage. Like, nothing is happening. But yeah.
All right,
It's fun though. I am enjoying the draft format.
Here's a thought for you. There is no, as far as Magic mechanics go, there is no mechanic that is quite so enjoyable to do as Scry.
I love Scry.
Right? Like,
pretty
just
great.
it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, that won't be my top deck.
Scry with me.
Scry with me.
So
If you need a shoulder to scry on.
Well, it's,
Scry me a river. Hey Cam, you've put together a standard deck with some Theros cards. What have you built here? What is Marathon?
Well, it's called Marathon, and it is a white-blue heroic deck that I kind of scraped together. It's a budget deck apart from the 4 hallowed fountains, so it's not really a budget deck at all.
White blue. I've seen white blue do very good in draft as well. I've been watching Kenji draft a lot, and he enjoys white blue a lot. I mean, he gets there from first picking Wingsteed riders like all the time. But
Yeah.
so what's in your deck, Cam?
The deck is based around cards that we've been talking about. They're all very low curve human soldiers in white. So I used Favorite Hoplite, Phalanx Leader, Battlewise Hoplite, who is a 2/2 for white and blue.
he's real good.
With heroic. He has the white heroic ability, which is +1/+1. Give him a +1/+1 counter, and scry 1. So he's really good.
Yeah.
And at 3 drops, I'm actually playing Liev's Sky Knight, of all things, because I needed a 3-drop and I wanted something that flied.
that guy's sweet.
That flies, and he also detains when he hits. So
I like that.
there is.
And he just gets bigger with the Phalanx Leader out there.
Yeah. A Phalanx Leader out can bring him up to 4/2,
You know,
which
Cam,
is.
it's funny your deck design, because I have a white-blue Highlander deck that I think I'm actually going to be taking the opportunity to sort of redesign a little bit around heroic, because there's a bunch of cards that I've actually seen in white and blue that are like, these are really good.
In draft at least, the Wave Crash Triton is insane.
Is that the tap?
Yeah,
heroic?
he's a 1/4 for 2 and a blue. So he's a 1/4 for 3, which is not super aggressive or amazing. But whenever you get his heroic trigger, you tap a creature your opponent controls, and it doesn't untap during their next turn.
Oh, so you freeze them.
Yeah, and it's really strong in draft. It's real good.
Well, it seems like pretty good tempo.
Yeah. Well, all of my creatures are very low cost, so I resolve a creature turn 1, resolve a creature turn 2, and then spend the rest of the game basically protecting those creatures with counter spells and combat tricks.
Tell me about the least fair combat trick in your deck, Cam.
Do you mean Triton Tactics?
Holy crap, that card.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Untap 2 creatures you control. They get +0/+3. Any creature they block does not untap next turn.
So you get like a Frost Breath effect. and they get big, so they're probably not going to die.
Yeah.
They untap, so they're surprise blockers, meaning that you can probably eat something. You're certainly not taking damage. You can probably even eat something, especially if you double block. You get two. You're likely going to get 2 heroic triggers, especially in your deck, where most of your guys have heroic.
Yeah.
And then those guys don't untap next turn. It's crazy.
That's
So
very
toughness worth of blocker.
For 1 blue.
Yeah, 1 blue. So I was playing against a green player or a green-white player who had like Loxodon Smiter with the Armadillo Cloak on it. Right, so 6/6 trample lifelink, and I swung in with a favored Hoplite who was, I don't know, he didn't block it for whatever reason. I think he had swung with the Smiter before, and I was able to untap a blocker, block the Smiter, reduce all the damage to 0 because favored Hoplite, whenever his heroic trigger
He
goes
doesn't
up,
gain
he reduces
life off of that, does he?
Yeah, so he didn't gain life off of it, and it was just like I felt good. I was making a lot of tempo plays. I was putting people back while gaining advantage, setting up a differential. It was thoughtful. There's a lot of interaction. It's fun to play with, and then I've got counter spells because
How do you play Magic without counter spells?
Yeah, that's how I do. So turn 4 on, you're basically just like using a combat trick a turn and then keeping up dissolve mana.
Nice. I was watching some of the Pro Tour earlier today, and the Star City team, or members of it at least. I was watching John Finkel play, and he had a mono blue devotion deck that was using a lot of the counter spells and things like the Triton tactics and things and Thassa to great effect.
I'm not looking forward to facing that deck next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the other secret tech in this, and I was really proud of myself for this until I started playing, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I saw this deck online."
That always hurts.
Yeah, it does, because this was a homebrew.
Oh.
This was mine, and as it turns out, everyone had this
was
idea. Was Hidden Strings. So
Really?
Yeah. One in blue.
Defend Hidden Strings.
I will defend Hidden Strings.
All right.
Hidden Strings, you cast it for 1 in blue,
Okay.
and you untap one thing.
Okay.
Or tap or untap one thing, tap or untap another thing. Cipher. So cast Hidden Strings, untap, in quotation marks, a heroic creature. It gets a heroic trigger, mine get bigger, maybe I scry something, maybe all my critters get bigger. I untap a land.
Yeah.
So I have a combat trick up now.
Right.
Either God's Willing or Triton Tactics.
God's Willing is super good in draft too.
Yeah, God's Willing is really good because you either save your guy from removal or you make him effectively unblockable. You scry, swing in, cipher trigger off God's Willing. You untap.
Your heroic guys.
Yeah.
Now you've got blockers.
Yeah, who's now bigger. You untap another land, so you have another trick available.
Wow. All right.
This seems good.
Defended. The fun thing about Hidden Strings, at least this is what I picked up from using it on Magic Online, is that obviously you can just target a guy who's untapped and say, I untap this guy. But because those are May triggers, you can target them and just choose not to do anything.
Right.
You can just be like, I target this guy and I may untap this guy. Well, do you? No.
Yeah. It's basically a blank spell.
Yeah, we encountered
Right.
this in M14 once, where we had Dismiss into Dreams, and our opponent played a Flesh Pulper Giant, which is when it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature of power or toughness 2 or less, or power 2 or less. I'm not entirely sure. But the only valid target on the whole battlefield was his own Elvish Mystic.
Right.
Now you can say no to that ability
Because it's a May ability.
because it's a May ability, but it still targets. And because we had Dismiss into Dreams in play, and
Right.
he had targeted one of his creatures with an ability, he had to sacrifice the Elvish Mystic, which I thought was really curious.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
Weird.
it's like, oh wow, May abilities still target, even if you choose not to do them.
Yeah. So, Hidden Strings, you can also tap down Defenders with it.
Yeah.
And I was getting a lot of mileage off it.
Nice.
4 tap or untap triggers is a lot of a lot of choice on the turn
Yeah,
that you play
that's.
it.
I mean, yeah, in the heroic deck, I can get behind that. That
Mhm.
seems pretty sweet.
So the only thing I'd really like to change is I would like to replace the Sky Knights because they are nice, but the 1 toughness is a hard row to hoe
Yeah.
in a format with Magma Jet and Shock
Yeah.
and other other
Heck,
other
even
lots
even
of burn.
Spark Jolt.
Yeah, there's a lot of burn, right? Like the, so I'd like to get Fabled Hero, which is 2/2 for 1 white, heroic +1/+1.
That guy was also
Double
in the,
strike.
That guy was also in the Elspeth deck I had. He
Yeah.
was just a beating.
Yeah, I just want to see somebody do like Fabled Hero, swing, enlarge.
Well, large is a sorcery.
Yeah,
But
well,
still.
yeah.
All right.
Still though. Oh.
That would be disgusting.
Oh.
Alex, do you have anything to add?
These are pretty
These are
good looking
cards.
cards. I mean,
Unfortunately, Alex and I haven't played a lot with this set yet.
no, I mean, like there's a bunch of new 1-drop pikers, or at least 2 of them that came out. I'm trying to think
There's
what
the
else was really
there's
exciting.
the Tormented Hero.
Yeah,
the
no, he seems really good.
2/1 for a single black.
And then there's the
and
white one.
We'll have to
that's
come back
similar.
to you, Alex, once you've actually had a chance to play around with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like I love the set flavor wise. It sometimes takes a little while for it to all shake out and to see what's going to be good in the more eternal formats.
That was our preview card.
So, ooh,
Yeah.
exciting.
All right.
But yeah,
Cool.
I have nothing to contribute because I've barely played with it so far.
Well, how did you enjoy the pre-release? Just
It was fun.
briefly.
I had a not great pool. We discussed that in the last podcast,
Yeah.
though.
All right. Well, yeah, there's some sort of initial feelings of Theros, a little bonus standard and Highlander perspective on some of that, and got to crack a pack of Betrayers of Kamigawa, which is fun. So, yeah, thanks everyone for listening to this week's Tap Tap Concede, and we will talk to you
Yay.
again next week. And for every week in 2014, because the Kickstarter funded, and so we'll be doing Tap Tap Concede every week. Definitely. Like, we're trying to do it every week now, but we'll definitely be doing it every week in 2014.
We're
so.
on the hook.
Yeah.
how scintillating.
Yes. So thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.